Hi, folks. Welcome to Crisco's Corner. Well. For those of you that thought it's the Republicans, they're the racists, they're the ones that want to have voter ID, they want to suppress minority voter turnout, and they blah, 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 and all the other racist stuff Republicans are. But the fact of the matter is, the Democrats were the racists years ago, and they still are. It's just in a different way. It's the same soup, just reheated. Welcome back to Crisco's Corner from PJ Media. Progressing into the past, school expands segregation classes. Now, you think this is just a one-off or just one or two schools? There are dozens and dozens of big schools all over the country that are doing this. It's becoming trendy. The left is great at gaslighting via the English language. For decades, the term segregation had negative connotations attached to it, and for good reason. Mostly it was used when discussing race relations concerning whites and blacks. In schools, segregation came to official end in 1954, 2 years before I was born, with a landmark Brown v. Board of Education U.S. Supreme Court case, though implementing the ruling nationwide would take many years. The argument at that time was that white students had a much better learning environment, and white schools received more funding, and therefore could hire better teachers, were generally located in better areas, and had newer equipment and facilities, all of which contributed to the atmosphere more conducive to learning. Well, also, too, back then, even in 1954, the black nuclear family, over 80%, my understanding, if I remember correctly, of black families had head of household, a male and a female. Most were married. The vast majority were married. What about today? I wonder if that has anything to do with it. Let's read on. Today, almost 50 years after the ruling ended segregation, the left is trying to selectively re-implement it because they are the true racists. Now that they're trying to steal it is a positive thing. And as usual, they use paradoxical terms to ease their deception in the reality. I do have to say, though, the left is very, very good at making up names for things. I mean, Build Back Better, the Inflation Reduction Act. Let's read on. This year, Evanston, a township high school located outside of Chicago, surprise, surprise, has expanded what they call affinity classes. What a great name. These classes are segregated into black-only and Latino-only classrooms. So what do? They do the old 1930s in Germany. We get to determine what percent of what race is a person. Remember that stuff? So if you have a mixed race kid, does he automatically go into the black-only? How about if he's black and Latino? What do? Flip a coin? Amazing. Notice the word segregation has morphed into affinity. This is being done to reduce what the school is calling academic achievement gap, with a supposed goal of making black and Latino students more comfortable in class. It's like how they use the English language, the word equity. Who could be against equality? Well, equity is not equality. It's a twist on words, and they distort the English language, and they always have to fit their needs. Students more comfortable? Really? The Evanston School Board Vice President is Monique Parsons. Parsons, for the record, is black. So you would think that this type of separation would be offensive to her. Instead, she defends the idea, stating, our black students are, for lack of a better word, at the bottom, consistently still, and they are being outperformed consistently. Okay, I'm a doctor. I have a patient that gets severe headaches. So what I do instead? I give him painkillers. I don't try to see what's causing the headaches. I don't get to see what's causing whatever's wrong with them or whatever their symptoms are. You treat the symptoms, not the disease. This is treating the symptoms. And what happens when you ignore things like tumors in your brain and other serious medical issues? The patient dies. So in Parsons and middle school's opinion, eliminating white students from those classrooms would prove beneficial to students of color. Yeah, again, what a percent. Wonder if this kid has 4 grandparents, 3 of them are white and 1 of them is black. Do they qualify? Do we get to do the old Jim Crow laws, where if you have a certain amount of black in you, you can't marry? There's been cases in my lifetime that have come up with that, where state law says black and whites cannot marry. Of course, they're long overturned, and those Jim Crow laws were put in there by, wait for it, Democrats. White teachers have also been eliminated from teaching these classes. Well, of course. It should be noted that Evanston is not the only community to offer race-segregated classrooms. There's a ton of colleges that have race-segregated libraries, study halls. It's amazing. There's videos all over the place where there'd be a couple of white students and black kids come in and throw them out because it's a a black sanctuary. Woke strongholds such as Minneapolis, Seattle, San Francisco, and Oakland have been offering race-specific high school electives in subjects such as African American history as far back as 2015. I don't have a problem with African American history. Evanston has taken it further by expanding to subjects such as math, English, Algebra 2, and AP Calculus. Raise your hand if you feel like this entire concept is not only incredibly racist, but absolutely ridiculous. It is. Also, how ridiculous is it for Evanston to expand this racist idea to subjects like English, math, algebra, and calculus? Can you imagine? Now think about this. Can you imagine the outrage on the left as a special class for poor performing white students was created and how people of color were excluded? The racist door swings both ways, sadly, and there are always losers on both sides. Now here's how they get around the federal law. These schools are able to skirt federal non-discriminatory laws that forbid segregation on the basis of race by making these classes voluntary. However, even by offering them, the schools are promoting the concept of racism. It opens the door for lawful, unmitigated racial mayhem. That's not what an institution of learning is supposed to do. Unbelievable. In Washington stand, Meg Kilgallen, the Family Research Council Senior Fellow for Education, says, in this example, the school system is failing to educate a portion of the students. Why are they not learning? Is it their home life? Is it a single parent? Normally, a single parent is the mother. I don't know. Are there 4 kids from 4 different fathers? Is there a father figure present? What is their financial status? Because usually single mothers are very low income. Rather than blame themselves for failing to prepare students to advance academically, this school system asks students to segregate themselves based on race. The students must do it themselves, so the schools don't violate civil rights laws that protects them from racial segregation. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article. I'm just going to lightly skim through it. These students have a sense of learning under false pretenses and therefore not being educated in real life circumstances. So far, out of 3,600 students, 200 have chosen to take their classes. Since 20% of the students are Latino and 25 are black, that equates 1 out of every 7 Latino students and 1 out of every 9 blacks. It's incredible. Like I said, I'll slowly scroll through this. I'm not going to read it all. Oh, unbelievable. No, it's not unbelievable. In fact, the actions of this school reflect the flawed, ingrained beliefs that white supremacy exists. In 2019, the Woke City Council passed a resolution that proclaimed the city to be an anti-racist city. Well, what city is pro-racist? And acknowledged that the trauma inflicted on people of color by persistent white supremacist ideology represents a psychological harm affecting educational, economic, and social outcomes, and conjures painful memories of our past. Then, that same city in 2021, that city became the first in America to approve reparation payments for blacks. It's I don't know how they've got this much power this quick. I really and truly don't. Now, I live in upstate New York. I used to be a local elected official as a city councilman there in the 2000s. I had toyed with the idea of running for school board. And the school board, of course, is loaded with leftists. And I would just have so much fun making them insane. People in politics, I told them I was thinking about doing it, and a former mayor said to me, "What do you want to get involved in that craziness for?" I says, "To make those people crazy." He goes, "Yeah, you would have a lot of fun, wouldn't you, John?" And I would. This should show the hypocrisy. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't run for school board. But I'm kind of a polarizing character when I was an elected official, which you probably guessed by now. Anyway, there it is. Again, the Democrats are the racists. They always have been. They just changed the formula of their racism. The same soup, just reheated. Anyway, folks, what do you think? Until the next time, goodbye and good luck.